when evidence was provided that UNRWA workers were part of the planning and involved in the terrorist attack against Israel on October 7th, working with Hamas, Canada and other countries decided to pause their funding to the organization. But now Canada is unpausing. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Brian Lilley and Warren Kinsella. So, Brian, was there ever actual pause on the funding, which Prime Minister Harper all those years ago stopped funding to UNRWA for all their activities that have been untoward at the very least? And now Ahmed Hassan has said we're not only going to restart the funding to UNRWA, we're going to increase it. What's going on here?
So a lot of moving parts here, and hold on, things may change. We never really paused funding. We said we paused funding for UNRWA in January, but we just sent them a huge big payment in December. And then the next payment's not due until April. So we said we paused it after the evidence came out that 12 members of UNRWA, 12 employees of UNRWA actively took part in the terrorist attacks. Today, there was supposed to be a news conference at 9 a.m. in Mississauga, Ahmed Hassan with Bob Rae by his side, announcing the UNRWA funding was coming back. That was abruptly canceled, but not before they had carefully leaked the story to CBC, explaining that everything was good and the government of Canada had seen an interim report from the UN absolving itself of any sins, that was good enough for them. They were going to restore UNRWA, give it a boost in funding. Well, yesterday, the Israeli Defense Forces released new evidence of multiple people from UNRWA, including elementary school teachers, boasting about taking hostages.
Yeah.
Today, we are declassifying a call that we intercepted, made by Youssef Zidan Suleiman Khawajra, a Hamas terrorist who took part in the massacre of October 7th. But he is not just a Hamas terrorist. He is also an UNRWA employee working as a teacher in a UN elementary school in Gaza.
Boasting about, we've got the captives. I'm back home. Another person speaking to his friend, where are you? I'm with the Jews. How will you get home? When I die. This was another UNRWA school teacher. And they said more than 450 UNRWA employees are actually members of either Hamas, Palestinian Jihad, or other terror groups in Gaza. You cannot say you didn't know and you weren't warned. So if we fund UNRWA again, we are funding terrorism.
You know, Warren, I'm wondering, this UN investigating themselves is such a joke, and the organization itself is to become nothing but a laughingstock, frankly. But Ahmed Hassan just experienced the wrath of these anti-Israeli protesters. He was involved in trying to go into that event with the Italian prime minister. They were hurling objects at him. And now he's turned around and said, I'm going to increase the funding. And I mean, is it pressure? Is that why this is happening?
It could be that, could be just simple stupidity. You know, Trudeau's the same thing. He's confronted on a ski hill. I think we've got footage of it somewhere in the Ottawa area by some kook screaming at him about Palestine and Israel and genocide. And Trudeau's response is, well, I've called for a ceasefire, and off he, snowboards down the hill. Like, this government doesn't get it. And we need a government that has got some moral clarity on these issues. It is insanity. It is the definition of insanity for us to provide a nickel of taxpayer money to an organization that participated in a pogrom, in a Holocaust on October 7th. We cannot do that. And so what I've heard from a number of my readers last night when news of this started to leak out, that Canada was actually going to do this and fund UNRWA again. And by the way, their stopping of UNRWA, basically, there's been no punishment meted out to UNRWA. This is just basically continuing to fund UNRWA. What I've said to people is they need to consider bringing some kind of legal action under the Charter of Rights, Section 24, what have you, against the government of Canada, acting in a way that compromises the safety and security of citizens, acting in a way that is discriminatory. We have a constitution that protects citizens against actions of government. I'm thinking if this takes place, if this funding of UNWRA takes place, citizens need to take action against their own government.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Is it time to do just that, for citizens to take action against its own government? Heaven knows this government's not afraid to take action against its own citizens. And go to thetorontosun.com and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to find commentary and coverage there you'll not find anywhere else.